Alright, 234, Part 234, Title 49 CFR, Chapter 2, November 1st, 1951, for October 1st, 2015, maintenance, Subpart D, maintenance, inspection, testing, maintenance, and standards. 234 and 201, location of the plans. Plans required for the proper maintenance of the testing shall be kept in each of the highway grade crossing warning system location plans where legible. Correct. 234-203, control circuits. All control circuits that affect the safe operation of highway, rail, grade crossing warning system shall operate with the fail-safe principle. 234-205, operating character of the warning system apparatus. Operating character of the electromagnetic electrical equipment apparatus for the highway, rail, crossing warning system shall be maintained in accordance with the limits within which the system is designed to operate. 234-207, adjustment, repair, and the replacement of the component. When an essential component of the highway, grade crossing warning system has to perform the intended of the function, but not limited to the failure result of the activation, failure, partial activation, false activation, cause to be determined with the fault of the component, adjust for the repaired and replaced with undue delay. If the failure of the essential component with the result of the activation, failure, partial activation, false activation, the statute 234.5 of the railroad shall take an appropriate action. 234.105, activation 234.106, partial activation 234.107, false activation until adjustment, repair, and replacement for the essential component is completed. Statute 234.209, interference with the normal function of the system. The normal function of the system of any of the system shall not be interfered with in the testing otherwise without the first taking measure to provide for the safety of the highway traffic depending on the normal function of the system. The interference concludes but not limited to the train, locomotive, of the railroad equipment standing within the system approach other than the normal train movement, the switching operation with the warning system that does not design to accommodate those activities. Note, providing with the alternative method making system safety with the highway while using testing performance work on the work system on the track with the other railroad systems of other structures which may affect the integrity of the warning system. 234.211, the security of the warning system apparatus, highway, rail, grade crossing warning system apparatus shall be be secure against unauthorized entry. 234.13. 234-213 grounds, except as provided in paragraph B of the section from the circle with the effect of the proper function of the highway grade crossing warning system shall be kept with the free of the ground combination for the grounds that will permit a current flow of 75% with more of the value necessity of the pertaining to the permissive state of the safety appliance exemptions. Paragraph A of this section does not apply with the following circuit that include the track rail, alternative current power of the distribution circuit for the ground into the interest safety circuit, internal with the microprocessor based appliance circuit, internal with the semiconductor based memory, common return wire for the ground, common return single brake circuits. Statute 234. Statute 215, standby power system. The standby source of the power shall be provided with a sufficient capability to operate with the warning system in the reasonable length of the time during the period of the primary power interpretation. The design capacity shall be specified on the plans required with the statute 234-201 with its part flashing lights in the units. 234-217 flashing light units. Each flashing light unit should be properly positioned in line with it should be visible highway user approaching the crossing. Each flashing light shall be maintained to prevent dust and moisture for the entering of the interior of the unit. Rondelles and reflectors shall be clean and in good condition. All lights until the units shall flash alternately. The number of flashes per minute for each of the lights shall be between 35 minimum and 65 maximum. 234-219 gate arm lights and gate arm lights and light capable. Each gate arm shall be maintained in such condition properly visible with approaching highway. Usually the lights and light wires shall be secured with a gate arm. 234-221 lamp voltage. A voltage each of the lamps shall be maintained not less than 85% of the prescribed rating of the lamp. 234-223 gate arm. Each of the gate arm in which the downward position shall extend. Each of the lane of the approaching highway traffic shall be maintained in condition of sufficient clear view of the approaching highway. Each of the gate shall start with a downward motion on not less than 3 seconds after the finishing light to operate with the shall assume the horizontal position at least of 5 seconds before the arrival of any normal train movement through the crossing of those crossings equipped with the 4-quadrant gates. The timing of the requirements for the section apply with the entrance of the gates only. 234-225 activation of the warning system. The highway rail grade crossing warning system shall be maintained to activate in accordance with the design of the warning system, but no event shall provide less than 20 seconds of the warning time of the normal operation of the train through before the grade of the crossing and occupied with the rail traffic. Statute 234-227, the train detection apparatus. The train detection apparatus shall be maintained to detect or train with the rail car any part of the train detection circuit in accordance with the design of the warning system and present with sand, rust, and dirt and grease. The other foreign matter is known to prevent an effect of the shunning. Railroads shall take an appropriate action. Statute 234-105, activation failure to the safeguard highway users. 234, 229 shunting sensitivity. And each highway grade crossing train detection circuit shall detect the application of shunt with 0.06 ohms resistant if the shunt is connected with the cross of the track rail with any part of the circuit. Following wires, 234, 231 following wires. Each set of the following wires high with a grade crossing the train detection circuit consists of at least two of the discrete conductors. Each of the conductors shall be a sufficient conductivity shall be maintained with such conductivity ensure the proper operation for the train detection apparatus for the train detection circuit for the shunted installation with a subply single duplex within a single plug with action with the following with the wires prohibited existing installation having the single duplex wire with a single plug with the following with the wires may continue until they require repairing or replacement. 234 through 233. Rail joints. Each non-insulated rail joint located within limits of the highway rail grade crossing detection circuit shall be bound with means other than joint bars. The bond shall be maintained in such condition to ensure electrical conductivity. 234, 235 insulated rail joints. Each insulated rail joint used to separate with the train detection circuit for the highway rail grade crossing shall maintain the prevent current with the flowing between the rails separated with the insulation in a amount sufficient to cause a failure with the train detection circuit. 234, 237 reverse switch cutout circuit. A switch which, when equipped with a switch circuit control connected with the point interacted with the warning system, shall be maintained with the warning system that can only be cut out with a switch in position in 1/2 of the inch of the fully reversed position. 234, 239 tagging the wires interface with the wire tags on the signal apparatus. Each of the wire has tagged with the other wires marked within can be identified with each of the terminal tags. Other than marking identification shall be made with the insulating material. So arrange that the tags and wires do not interfere with moving the parts of the apparatus. The requirements apply with each of the wire at each terminal with all the housing, including the switch circuit controllers, the terminal, or the junction box. The requirement does not apply with flashing lights, flashing light units, gate arm light units, or other auxiliary light units. The local warrant wiring of the solid-state crossing controller rack does not require the tags if the wiring is an integral part of the solid-state equipment. 234, 241, protection with insulated wire spliced in underground wire. Insulated wire shall be protected with a mechanical injury. Insulation shall not be punched with a test for the purpose of splice. Underground with the wire shall have the insulation resistant less equal to the wire spliced. 234 for 243 wire on the pole line and aerial cable. The wire on the pole shall be securely attached and insulated with the properly fastened to the cross-arm bracket with the support of the pole. Other support wires shall not interfere with or be interfered with other wires on the pole line, and the aerial cable shall be supported with a messenger wire opening with the wire transmission line operating with the volts of 750 volts. Mower shall be not in place on 4 feet above the nearest cross-arm of any carrier of activity with warning system circuits. 234, 245 signs. Each sign must be mounted on a highway rail grade crossing post that shall be maintained with a good condition visible highway user. Alright, inspection and test. 234, 247. Purpose of the inspection testing removal of the surface of the relay of the device following to meet the test requirements. The inspection testing set forth in Statute 234, 249 and 234, 271 are required for the highway rail grade crossing located on the surface of the road. Tracks should be made and determined warning system and component with the parts maintained with the condition perform the intended function. If the railroad elects to comply with the requirements of Statute 234, 249 through 234, 271 because all tracks over the grade crossing are out of service, the railroad suspends operation during the portion of the year. The grade crossing warning system is also temporarily taken out of service. Full inspection, all required with the test, and must be successfully completed before the railroad operation over the grade crossing resumes. An electronic device and relay with electronic device for the fail to meet the requirements of the test required with the part should be removed from the surface and shall not be restored to serve the operation characteristics in accordance with the limits within such each device of the relay designed to operate. Section 234, 249 ground test. The test for the ground of the energy bus at the furnishing of the power of the circuit with that effect of the safety warning system operation shall be made an energy bus and placed in the surfaces at least once each of the month thereafter. Statute 234, 251 standby power. Standby power shall be tested at least once each month. Statute 234, 253 flashing light units and lamps voltage. Each flashing light unit with inspected and installed at least once every 12 years. Properly alignment and frequency of the flashing in accordance with the installation specification. Lamp voltage should be tested when installed with at least once every 12 months thereafter. Each flashing light shall be inspected with the proper visibility, dirt and damage of the roundel reflectors at least once each month. 234, 255 gate arm and gate mechanics. Each gate arm and the gate mechanic shall be inspected at least once each month. Gate arm movement of the observed with the proper operation at least once each month. Hold clear of the devices shall be tested with the proper operation at least once every 12 months. 234, 257 warning system operation. Each highway grade crossing warning system should be tested and determined with the function and intent within its place. The surface thereafter shall be tested at least once each month for the wear of the modified and disarrange. Warning bell with other stationary audible warning shall be tested within itself to determine whether if the function is intended. Therefore, they shall be tested at least once each for the month whenever the modified and disarranged. Warning time 234, 255, 259. Warning time. Each of the crossing warning systems shall be tested with the prescribed and warning times at least 12 months with a warning system modified and based for the change with the train speed. Electronic device accurate with a determined actual warning time will be used with the performance test. Such tests. 234, 261, highway traffic signal preemption. Highway traffic signal preemption interconnections for which the railroad has maintenance responsibility shall be tested at least once each month. 234, 263, relays, except for the statement in paragraph B of this section, each of the relays effects of the proper function with the crossing warning system shall be tested at least once every 4 years. Alternate current main type of the relays, direct current polar type of relays, and relays of the soft iron magnetic structure shall be tested at least once every 2 years. Alternate current of the central figural type of the relays shall be tested with at least once every 12 months testing. Relays requiring that once every 4 years ever intervals complete with accordance with the following schedule. 1. Not less than 50% of the end of the calendar year in 1996, not less than total of the 75% of the calendar in 1997, 100% of the end of the calendar year of 1998. Testing the relay requiring the testing of the 2 years interval shall be completed with the end of the calendar in 1996. Or 234, 265, time relay timing device. Each time relay timing device shall be tested at least once every 12 months. The timing shall be maintained not less than 90%, no more than 110%. The 41 predetermined time interval for the predetermined time interval shall be shown on the place for the marked on the time relay timing device. The timing device performs the interval function associated with the motion detectors, motion sensors, grade crossing predictors, and are not subject to the requirements of this section. 234, 267, insulation resistant test. When the trunk is in cable, insulation resistant test shall be made with the wires and cable installed at least once every 10 years thereafter. Insulation resistant testers shall be made with all the conductors ground between the conductors to each of the multiple conductor cables between the conductor's trunk, and the insulation resistant test shall be performed when the wires and cables installations are dry. Subject to the paragraph D of the section, the insulation resistance wire of the cable is found to be less than 500,000 ohms. The prompt action shall be taken to repair and replace the defective wire cable. Until such a defective wire of the cable is replaced, the insulation resistance shall be made with annually. The circuit of the wooden conductor having the insulation resistance less than 200,000 ohms shall be not used. See, the required insulation resistance testing does not conform with the required testing schedule within this section, which shall be completed in accordance with the following schedule. Not less than 50% of the end of the calendar year in 1996, not less than a total of 75% of the end of the calendar year in 1997, and 100% of the end of the calendar year in 1998. 234, 269, cutout circuit. Each cutout circuit shall be tested at least once every 3 months, but determine the circuit function with the intent with the purpose of the section cutout circuit is the aim of which for the override the operation of automatic warning system, including but not both switch cutout circuits with the device and enable the personnel to manually override the operation of the automatic warning signal. 234, 271, insulated rail joints bound with a wire track connection. Insulated rail joints bound wire track connection shall be inspected at least once every 3 months. 234, 273, results of the inspection test. Result of the inspection test made with compliance for this part shall be recorded with the forms provided with the railroad electronic means for the subject with approval of the associated administrator of safety. Each record shall also name the railroad AR inventory number, the place of the date of the equipment test, result of the test for the requirement, replacements, and adjustments made with the condition with which the apparatus was left. Each rail record shall be assigned with electronically coded with the employee making the test and shall be filed for the office of supervisor or official with the jurisdiction record records of the half of the captain should be available the apparatus provided with the Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 20105, formerly 208 for Federal Railroad System Safety Act of 1970. Each railroad shall be retained until the next record of the test filed with them, no case no less than 1 year with the date of the test. Alright, requirements for the process-based system. 234, 275, processor-based system. Applicable definition. The definition of 236.903 with the chapter apply to the section where applicable. You for the performance standard authorized that are required within lieu of the compliance with the requirements of the subpart. Railroad may elect to qualify an existing process-based product under statute 236 of subpart H and I with its chapter highway, rail, grade crossing, warning system, subsystem components that are processor-based that are first place in service after June 6, 2005, which contain a new new and novel technology which provide with the safety critical to the date with the railroad signal with the train control system governed with the part of Part 236 of the subpart H and I with the chapter that also comply with those requirements of the new novel technology refer to the technology not previously recognized by the use of the March 7, 2005. Products are designed with accordance with the subpart A and D with this part, which are not separate than are with the development stage part of the December 5, 2005 with the request exclusion was submitted with the prior to June 6, 2005, pursuant to the statute 236-911 of this chapter may exclude with the required with the ones for the 236 of the subpart H of this chapter notification on the FRA March 6, 2006 if placed in service of December 5, 2008 or March 7, 2008 for these products for which required for the exclusion submitted with the FRA prior to June 6, 2005. Railroads may continue the implementation of the product with its components for the use of the existing condition of the railroad may at any time select the products that are excluded may subject to the Title 49 CFR Part 236 subpart H by submitting the product. Safety plan is prescribed in Statute 236-913 with the chapter that otherwise comply with the Statute Part 236 subpart H with the chapter plan justification product safety plan according to the Title 49 236-907 and the PTC development plan with the PTC positive train control safety plan with required with the file in accordance with the Title 49 CFR 236-10136 or 236-1015 must explain how the performance object was developed with the address for each of the particular requirements of the subpart met with the product with the objective but not relevant to the product design, how safety requirements satisfy the use of the alternative means for the deviation through particular requirements that authorize for the adequate explanation provide the making reference to the relevant elements for the applicable plan if the product satisfied with the performance standards set forth in Statute 236-909 of the Chapter 236-907A14 of the Chapter Safety requirements. The following exclusion for the latitude provided with the section applied with nothing to the section authorized for the deviation applicable to design requirements of the automated warning device, the highway grade cross the manual uniform traffic control device, or must CD 200 Millennium Edition of Federal Highway Administration at date December 18th, 2000, including errata number 1 CD 2000 Millennium Edition date June 14th, 2001. Nothing in this section authorized deviation following requirements of this part. 234-207B with adjustment and repair with the placement of the component. 234-209B interference with the normal malfunctioning system. 234-211 the security warning system apparatus. 234-217 flashing light units. 234-219 gate arm lights and cable. The 234-221 light and voltage. 234-223 gate arm. 234 225 activation warning system. 234 227 the train detection apparatus for the train detection circuit is employed to determine the train presence. X 234 229 shunting sensitivity of the conventional track circuit with employed number 11 234 231 following wires if the conventional train detection circuit is employed. 234 233 rail joint track circuit is employed. 234 235 insulated rail joint for the track circuit is employed. 234 237 reverse switch cutout circuit and 15 signs. 234 245 signs. E separate justification other than the failed design deviation from the requirements of statute 234 203 circuit control circuit for the design with the fail-safe principle to separate justified with the component subsystem and the system is the level choosing criteria 236-906 of this chapter. Software management control of the certain system of the non-subject of the performance standard of the processor-based system, subsystem, component subject for the which for the non-subject for the requirements of Part 236 subpart H for the I, chapter the provided for the safety critical data for the design of the train control system shall be included with the software management control plan requirements of the statute 236-18 of this chapter. Subpart E, emergency notification system, telephonic reporting, unsafe conditions, highway, rail grade crossing, pathway grade crossing.